Yeah, good afternoon everyone. So this is our 11th class on current affairs. Every Saturday at 5 o'clock we were discussing 30 important questions from every month. We started from April 2022 and this is the 11th class and this is on February 2023. Same format, let's go ahead. Answer the first question first. What is answer? D. Any other? D. A. Okay. So we are clear with our objective. Like for the first, this is 11th class means for first 8 class, we were solving with, we were focusing so much on building the knowledge base, not solving question which you too much doesn't know, or you cannot relate with anything which you have studied earlier. You shouldn't answer this question. That was our basic approach. But from last 3 tests, our approach is more like apply your knowledge. Even if you don't know, you have to think on different dimensions and find the answer. You have to think on basics. You have to connect it with some base knowledge you already know, and you have to reach the answer. That is our objective in answering all these questions. If you want to really get the knowledge on all these topics which you are referring, you can refer to the material. This is provided to you. So you can go through it and get fair idea about it. Here we are focusing more on solving, getting the right answers. So with reference to black carbon, what exactly is black carbon or black carbon aerosols? What is aerosol? Let's start with aerosols. What exactly it is? Okay, you can divide it into two parts, air plus solids in the name itself. So if in the air this is a box of air and there is solid particles suspended in this air, such a mixture is called as aerosols. These suspended particles can be solid as well as liquid also. Now this is aerosols we know. What is black carbon? Black carbon is a product of incomplete combustion. What is difference between black carbon and brown carbon? When high temperature combustion is happening. Where it happens? In IC engines, mostly in vehicles. So in here, if there is an incomplete combustion, then the product is black carbon. Now here, if an organic matter is subjected to incomplete combustion, where this happen usually? Wildfires, forest fires, all these cases we mostly see is brown carbon. What is the major difference, characteristic difference? Black carbon, due to its black, it can absorb almost whole range of the electromagnetic spectrum. Infrared, UV, visible light, everything it will absorb. So what is the end product? What is the characteristic it have? Since it's absorb all the, it's black in color, it absorb all the electromagnetic spectrum, its greenhouse gas potential will be too high. We will come to it. Basic characteristics, since it is black in color, it absorbs all the electromagnetic spectrum. So its greenhouse gas potential will be extremely high. These all basics you should know about. Now let's try to answer the question. First statement, they are small particles of carbon that are produced from incomplete combustion of fossil fuels, biomass and biofuels. Very much correct. Fairly the definition of what exactly is the black carbon or black carbon aerosols is given in the first statement. You should not have any confusion in answering this. First statement should be correct. I will eliminate C, cannot be my answer because there is no one in this. They are larger in size and thus not considered as a particulate matter. What exactly is particulate matter? Usually what in Delhi pollution we are discussing, we will hear that PM 2.5 and PM 10. Which is most dangerous for health? 2.5. Why? Because here size is 2.5 micron. This is the size range of this. Here it will be 10 micron. If it is smaller, if we inhale it, it can go into the lungs, it can go into the bloodstream. If it is little larger in size, maybe that much quantity will not go into the lungs. It will be blocked in the nostrils or somewhere else. But if it is too small, more the chances of going into the body, going to the bloodstream. So 2.5 is more dangerous. Now even if there is PM10, you can feel the change in quality of air. Visibility of air in Delhi is changing during the winter pollution times. So even this is a visible thing. Now if we have an aerosol here, if aerosol particles is bigger size than this, we are discussing on PM10. If aerosol particles are much bigger than this, then they will not have the capacity to stay as an suspended particle. It will settle down as soon as it is formed. PM10 will keep suspended in the air for a longer time. Now if aerosols is having much higher size than PM10, there is a higher chance that if you have read somewhere something about this black carbon and all, black carbon creating issues, they are getting accumulated in Himalayan snows, and due to this high greenhouse gas potential, this snow melting is being accelerated by accumulation of black carbon in these glaciers in Himalayas. Now if it is reaching at that height, it cannot have size greater than PM particulate matter 10. If it is bigger size, it will settle down fastly, it will not reach Himalayas. If it is reaching Himalayas, means either it should have been comparable size of PM particulate matter, and it cannot be much greater in size. Now come to the second statement. They are larger in size and thus not considered as a particulate matter. It's very difficult to take this statement as correct. These are having characteristics, if you look, very similar to that of particulate matter. What is the major difference? Here the element is carbon, otherwise other particulate matter can be of any other substance also, not necessarily carbon only. So, and if you take by knowledge, aerosols are basically 2.5 micron size mostly. It is coming within the size of particulate matter, and it is considered as a different category of particulate matter. So this statement is completely wrong. They can settle on snow, ice, increasing the amount of sunlight reflected back into the sand and contributing to, this is what we discussed here. If you read some news of these studies has been done on this. Himalayan glaciers are accelerating the melting of glaciers due to black carbon deposition. Now what is one more consequence of this? This you were discussing. One consequence is greenhouse gas emission, like greenhouse gas potential of this. Second, it is depositing on the snows and creating the accelerated melting of glaciers. Third is they are acting as nucleus for formation of clouds. Now due to this, what happens? What is cloud exactly? Water steam that is being frozen at lower temperature at a higher heights, that is cloud. Now if there is this black carbon in the atmosphere, what happens is at greater heights it will create spots where water can come and condense around it. So normally we don't expect cloud to or rainfall cloud to form in this region at XYZ point of time. Clouds are being formed due to the presence of black carbon. Now it will give rain, it will give reduced temperature. So is this a good thing or bad thing? It can give summer rains in Himalayan plains. It can reduce the heat waves in Delhi and all the North Indian based states. But is it a good thing or bad thing? It is mostly a bad thing, because if rain is happening in winter, in summers, it will reduce the intensity of monsoon. It will change the monsoonal patterns. You may get a few millimeters of rain in the summer, but that will destroy the whole monsoonal pattern, the intensity of monsoon winds that is being pulled into the subcontinent. So whole monsoonal pattern is also being impacted by the accumulation of black carbon. So these are different mechanisms how it impacts nature. This is the definition. The questions are mostly from basics. So what is answer here? 1 and 3. They can settle an increasing amount of sunlight. Is here there is, they can settle on ice, snow and ice. This is correct. Increasing the amount of sunlight reflected back into the space, contributing to melting of glaciers and sea level. Actually this is not the problem now. Sunlight is coming. What is the problem in this? Like how greenhouse gas effect is heating the earth or heating the atmosphere. If there is snow, snow has an albedo of 90% or above. So 90% of albedo means most of the light falling in will be reflected back into the atmosphere. Now when there is this black carbon on it, what will happen? This reflection might not happen. Those light which falls on this black carbon will not be reflected. Here 90% albedo, here it may be reduced to 70%. So more sunlight reflected back cannot be true. It reduces the albedo. So less sunlight is being reflected back from the snow or glaciers from the Himalayas. So this statement is also wrong. This is also wrong. Only first statement is correct. Here answer is A1 only. Go ahead. Read the statement a little bit more carefully and connect it with the basics. This is not something you don't know. What happens is you see the snow, you see the ice. We already know snow and ice, there is some impact of aerosols or black carbon. We jump into the conclusion that this statement is correct. Don't do that. Read it carefully and connect it with the mechanism that is explained in the XYZ statement. Go ahead. Answer the second question first. What is the answer? Batao, C. With reference to, you're saying A. With reference to heat dome. What exactly is heat dome? Persistent high temperature over a XYZ region. This mostly happens in summer. And what is pressure? What can you interfere from pressure? Will it be high pressure or low pressure? Why? There are two aspects to this. One is if temperature is rising, the normal relation is you expect the atmosphere to be less dense and less pressure. But here what happens is throughout the around this area of heat dome, suppose this is the area where there is high temperature, there will be a high pressure system acting over this area. And due to this high pressure system already acting, even if temperature rises, high pressure circulation is maintained in this area. Now if high pressure system is maintained, what happens? There will be no movement of vertical movement of air as well as the horizontal movement of air will be highly restricted. This will lead to this continuation of high temperature XYZ characteristics for even 2 days, 4 days, even few weeks. So that XYZ characteristics we call it as heat dome, urban heat dome or urban heat island. That is mostly due to increased density of buildings, roads and other infrastructure. Two ways it contributes. One is these roads are black in color, buildings concrete material is there, so their absorptivity is higher. So they absorb more sunlight or they absorb whatever the waves, electromagnetic waves coming from the sun, and they reflect less. That is one impact. Other impact is there is so much disturbances, so there is no wind flow happening through this area. So these are two ways it impacts. Thirdly, there is vegetation will be cut down. There will be no enough vegetation to maintain the normal temperature ranges. So very much correct statement. Urban heat island effect significantly contributes to worsening of air quality. How can you relate air quality and this? One is Delhi air pollution. Why is it severe in winters? One reason is this burning of stubble burning from neighboring states. Other reason is during winters, Delhi, all the wind from all the other places will come and subside in Delhi. So what happens is a high pressure system is developed over Delhi. High pressure system means there will be no vertical movement of the air, there will be no horizontal movement of the air. Whatever pollutant is there, it will stay there as pollutant. So that's why Delhi air pollution is same effect you can see in urban heat island also. If pollutant is there, it will not be subjected to any movement. Second, one more reason is this: once this heat island phase is over, this high pressure, high temperature phase is over, then what happens is this high pressure will be released and this air start expanding and a low pressure area system will be developed over this. Now a low pressure system developed means air from all other areas will come to the low pressure zone. So this air will also bring different particulate matters or other pollutant from the nearby zone into this heat island zone. So due to multiple mechanism, worsening of air quality is also a problem associated with heat dome or urban heat islands. Both these statements are correct. Answer here is C. Answer third question first. बताओ क्या आंसर है? क्या आंसर है? A, B और कुछ? B. Now last two questions were more like you can connect something conceptual. Here this is more like seems to be a factual question with reference to momentous clouds. Consider the following statement. Suppose you haven't read about these clouds. This has been in news. Why this has been in news? Because why these clouds has been formed, the exact mechanism was unknown. Recently NASA produced a report on what is the mechanism that leading to production of these clouds. So that's why this is in news. Even if you don't know or don't have read or cannot remember during the exam these clouds, how will you answer this? They are usually formed in association with large cumulonimbus clouds. What are exactly large cumulonimbus clouds? If there is large cumulonimbus clouds around an area, what do you expect there to happen? Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is associated with which kind of atmospheric condition? Low pressure atmospheric condition. There is instability in that area, atmospheric instability, and due to this atmospheric instability, raising of water vapor is happening. Due to this, adiabatic heating and this formation of clouds is happening, and these cumulonimbus clouds are formed. So this much you can infer from the first option. Now come to the second option. They are associated with high pressure climatic condition. So one thing where you can get this high pressure climatic condition? Where you exactly find this? Mid latitudes like 30 degree, 40 degree, where you find these deserts. This is the area where you can see this high pressure climatic system. Now we can know cumulonimbus clouds cannot be associated with these desert regions or 30 degree, 40 degree. Even some exceptional cases will be there, but generally if you think cumulonimbus clouds are not associated with the general characteristics of mid latitudes. So at least one inference you can make is this both cannot be the part of this answer. At least C cannot be the part of this answer. Second, we are talking about some kind of clouds, and this is not a normal cloud which you usually see. And this desert system, these are areas which are mostly, they have no clouds. Clear skies are the most basic characteristics of this area. So even if I have to make a guess, it is better to go with there is cumulonimbus clouds being discussed here. So it's more chance there is a clouds in this cloud formation happens in an area where there is cloud is a major characteristic feature. In this area, high pressure cloud is not a characteristic feature. Mostly the sky is cloudless. So high chance one only is the correct answer, and that is the answer. Now what exactly is this momentous clouds? These are like cumulonimbus. What is cumulonimbus clouds? Very high, like very big clouds. It is having like a dome-like structure, and this have black or gray color and have so much of water vapor. It will create, that's why it's create thunderstorm. Now within this cumulonimbus clouds, there is bulges like this. And what you look at the sky, what you see is some kind of structure like this. Here you can see this. So these bulges are called mammatus clouds. Now why these bulges is being formed in these certain cases, that has been studied. The why these bulges is being caused because of like excess water vapor that is formed inside the cloud. Even before falling as a rainfall, excess pressure of water vapor that is formed inside the cloud is the major reason for resulting in this bulge. It's mostly it is happening in the USA and areas related to this, nearby those. Other factual details you can read from the material. So here answer is A1 only. Now answer the fourth question first. What is the answer? बताओ. A और कुछ? बताओ. C. With reference to Borthekra tree, consider the following statement. The fruits of this tree are used for anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties. Can you infer anything from this? Can you infer anything from reading the question so far? You have read it. You have read somewhere that these are trees with medicinal properties. This much you know, you can easily associate with antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. This much but you should know. Second part, this is a tree and it is endemic to Thar deserts. What tree is endemic to Thar deserts? Endemism we expect in those areas where the environmental characteristics are unique. Thar desert is not a unique environmental characteristic. There are deserts in other parts of the world also. Western Ghats is a unique area. Similarly, Northeast India is a unique ecosystem we have. Similarly, Andaman and Nicobar has a unique ecosystem. Why? Western Ghats, biological hotspot is there. You can find these mechanisms like Shola forest, evergreen montane forest at 1500 to 2000 height. These kind of forests you will not find anywhere in the world. So that's why we have so much endemism in Western Ghats. Similarly, Northeast India, we discussed this in other question also. Northeast India, from alpine ecosystem to evergreen grasslands, everything. Midway, whatever ecosystem you can associate with, every ecosystem is present in and its variants are present in the Northeast India. So that's why you can see so much amount of diversity associated with this. Similarly, with Andaman and Nicobar Islands also. Why huge endemism there? Because they have evolved as a separate island for long period of history. And they are this tropical rainforest also. So due to their isolation and position and the evolutionary role it played, these lands are also having high level of endemism. A tree having an endemic to Thar desert, it's very high chance for that to happen. Only answer it as correct statement if you exactly read it that this is a tree from Thar deserts, or this is a tree from Rajasthan or western parts of the country and it is endemic to there. Otherwise, even if tree is from Thar desert, if being an endemic tree in the deserts is very high, very less chance. This tree exactly, Borthekra, it's an endemic tree to South Asia. This is found in Assam, Bangladesh and Northeast India, it is being found. It has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties. This is the fruit of the tree. You can find it here. Exactly, Assam people were barred to eat this. Like due to their cultural practices or whatever they're following, they were barred to eat this fruit. But recently studies has found that eating this fruit improves the health of the heart. And there are other medicinal properties associated with this XYZ fruit. That's why it was in news. Go ahead. Answer the fifth question first. What is the answer? C. Anything else? You are confused with A and C. B. Okay. Consider the following statement with regarding Quad cyber challenge. What exactly is Quad? You can call it as a strategic alliance between 4 countries. Which are the 4 countries? India is the US, Australia and Japan. Diamond democracy is also associated with Quad. What exactly is the objective? Free and open Indo-Pacific. Strategically, it is conceived as an organization against not be right, China. The idea was first conceived in 2007 by the late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, but it doesn't pick up from there. Then after 10 years in 2017, the leaders again met and in 2017 and mobilized this idea of Quad, forming a formal meeting. Now come to this question. This has recently conducted the Code Cyber Challenge. So it provides resources including basic cyber security information and training for all users who are a part of it. So this is what this any other multilateral or global organization does. If it is conducting a challenge, it will give some training, it gives some resources and try the vulnerability or resilience of the XYZ system. High chance this is directly is taken from the definition, or what exactly is this? In India, it is being coordinated by Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, CERTIN, under the Ministry of Electronics and Information and Technology. Now, what all you can think from this perspective? One is there is a ministry name. I will only take this right if I exactly know this ministry is undertaking this. Secondly, there is an organization. CERTIN is associated with what? CERTIN is a technical organization. It is not a policy implementing organization. It is a technical organization and it is an emergency response organization. So very less chance an emergency response organization will come and do something associated with policy. It's only come into picture when there is a threat to the critical infrastructure of the country or threat to the infrastructure, digital infrastructure of the country. It is like a police force or some digital police force. It will only come into the force when there is something happening, bad is happening. Otherwise, you will be these kind of challenges or policy coordination will be done by some other department, not CERTIN. And exactly which department is doing that? National Office of National Cyber Coordinator, under the Ministry of MeIT itself, Electronics and IT. This organization is coordinating the Quad Cyber Challenge. So this statement is wrong. First is only correct. Answer is A1 only. Go ahead. Answer the 6th question first. What is the correct answer? A. Any other? Everyone is answering A. Consider the following statements regarding Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. What is OPEC? It is a petroleum cartel. What does it do? Stated objective of OPEC is to have market stability in petroleum products. At the same time, all customers or all customers as well as suppliers should have some understanding. Customers should get it for right price, fair price, and the industry which is distributed across these OPEC countries should get enough money to sustain the whatever the industry it is. So controlling the price level by controlling the supply is the objective of this organization. Controlling price level of petroleum products by controlling supply. Now how it controls supply? It will allot quotas to different countries. So every country should produce within this quota, should not produce more. Now during pandemic time, you might have heard that petroleum prices has fallen below zero. Why this happened? One reason is demand fall during pandemic. Second reason is there has been conflict between OPEC countries and OPEC versus not non-OPEC, Russia. There has been an informal agreement. Russia, some quota has to be allotted to the Russia also. So Russia can constrain their production and can maintain this price level. But this agreement got midway, doesn't materialize. So what is the consequence of this? Russia keep on producing as it wish. So there is excess supply in the market, which led to quick or sudden fall of prices of these petroleum products. Now after the whole scenario changes after the Russia-Ukraine invasion happens. But this is something, a news which you can remember from the pandemic. Now this question, if you cannot answer this question if you are not reading newspapers. During this, throughout recently, India has, after the Ukraine crisis, what happened? People have put bans on buying this Russian oil. Now, if Western countries has put this ban, this has changed the supply of the oil in the market, and this led to further increase in the market price of the petroleum products. But India is getting the oil at a luxury, like at a discounted rate. Now, this is going, so much editorials has been written on these aspects. How India is getting, is it ethical for India to take this oil, or it is ethical for Western countries to put such sanctions? All these editorials have been written, and there have been so much connections that has been drawn with the present crisis with that of oil crisis of 1973. So only if you read newspaper on regular basis, these all lines are directly picked from editorials. So if you are at least familiar going through newspaper like half hour, one editorial page only you are reading in half hour or 45 minutes, at least that much you are doing, you can connect this. Otherwise, from your routine material doesn't follow this 1973 oil crisis. It may be too exotic to put in a magazine, monthly magazine or weekly magazine. It is established as a consequence of 1973 oil crisis. What exactly happened in 1973? What exactly happened is OPEC countries stopped sending oil, stopped selling oil to USA, European countries, and Japan and other advanced countries. These countries are not selling oil means this country will not get oil, and there has been sudden rise in the prices of oil. Within few months, the price of oil be 4 into increased. This led to high level of inflation, high level of all this. The whole global economy go into recession phase due to all this. So this is the 1973 oil crisis, which has been created by OPEC countries. OPEC countries played a great role in it. Why they did this? Not just US, the problem was Israel. Israel was having ties with that, and Israel was threatening the Arab countries. Some war happened during 1968 and the continuation of this was happening. So in order to a response by the Arab countries, they stopped sending oil to this, and this led to complete recession in the world. So this was such a major recession. After that, there has been informal and formal ties that have been built by suppliers and where the demand is. These countries tried to engage themselves to avoid such a confronting situation in the future. If you look at throughout history, even after some sanctions has been posed on this Iraq as well as Russia and other countries during different times, but something like this combined sanctions hasn't happened throughout the history. So if you know these basic stories, it becomes like OPEC countries are a part of this crisis. How can it was established as a consequence of 1973 oil crisis cannot be a correct statement. So this is wrong. Both Iran and Iraq are the founding members of OPEC. These both are founding members. Plus they are also currently founding members, currently the members of OPEC. Only very few groupings were Saudi Arabia and Iran come together. So OPEC is one of them. So here B is the correct answer. Only second statement is correct. First is incorrect. These are the other OPEC countries. For factual information, you can go through this. There are 13 countries. Grouping is called as OPEC countries. Ecuador, Venezuela, Algeria, Libya, Nigeria. Which countries are they? Congo, Angola, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran. All these countries are a part of it. Go ahead, answer the 7th question first. It's quite an easy question. We have answered this multiple times. What is answer? C. D. बताओ बताओ. B. सब आंसर बोल रहा है. More importantly, don't make this mistake. Not correct is asked. So you have to find wrong options. Consider the following statement regarding Financial Action Task Force FATF. What all you know about FATF? What all you know about FATF? Money laundering, controlling, terror financing. These are the working areas of FATF. Now, when it was established, any idea? It was established under G7 or a part of G7. 1989 Paris Accord or Paris Agreement, you call it as the formation of FATF. Now, how many countries it have? Actually, one interesting thing, we discussed this later also, before also. Pakistan has been listed under grey list for continuous. Now it is out of the grey list, right? So Pakistan is being put and outside. It has a jurisdiction. FATF has a jurisdiction in 200 plus countries or states. So 200 means it almost have a global jurisdiction. At the same time, the number of members of FATF is only 39, including regional organizations. 37 members and 2 regional organizations. So members are very limited, but jurisdiction is exhaustive. Now, is India a member of this? India is definitely a member of this. This much of basics you should know about the organization. It is an intergovernmental body established under the aegis of United Nations. It's not correct. To combat, objective is correct, but United Nations not under United Nations. First statement is wrong. India and China are not members of this. India, we know already, is a member of this. China is also a member of FATF. Both these countries are members of FATF. So this statement is also wrong. Not correct means both the statements are not correct. C is the answer. This is something which I am again emphasizing. If you are learning about some of the international organizations, go to their about page before the exam at least once. So this is a takeout from this about page of FATF. It tackle money laundering, terrorist financing, proliferation financing. This is objective. 39 member body. Grey list, black list, it classify countries depending on their vulnerability to money laundering and terror financing. Answer the 8th question first. बताओ क्या आंसर है? क्या आंसर है? B. Anything else? D. Anything else? Give me one answer. A, B. With reference to aspirational blocks program. Were you heard this? Recently, 2023 budget, there was announcement for expanding the aspirational district program to blocks level also. So expansion of the previous program is announced in this budget. Now what exactly is this aspirational district program? What is the objective? Mostly less developed districts it will select, and it will focus on low hanging fruits. And these low hanging fruits are indicators like health and nutrition, education, financial inclusion. These aspects, they try to improve the performance of the district on this aspect. Now how they are doing it? What is the strategy? 3C strategy is being employed. 3C means convergence, collaboration, and competition. Like competition may some district level rankings will be made. In collaboration, state and union come together to implement the policies of state and combined so that the optimum result can be. In convergence means funding, no extra funding will be given to these states. Whatever funding is available, that attempts will be made to use that in a optimum manner. Like special officers will be posted for this, special manpower may be allocated. So this is the approach followed in aspirational district program. What else? Recently in last budget, government has said that 95% of the districts that is under the aspirational district program has reported progress over all these indicators, social indicators. So it has been quite a successful program. That's why government decided to expand it into aspirational blocks program. In 2023 budget, you might have, if you gone to any of the budget document, you might have heard this. Now let's try to answer the first statement. It was launched in 2018 to transform districts that have shown relatively lesser progress in key social areas. This is very much correct statement with respect to aspirational district program, not incorrect statement with respect to aspirational blocks program. This has been launched in 2023. Ranking of these districts, again it's a controversial. This it will be blocks based on 5 broad socio-economic themes including financial inclusion and skill development. If it is blocks, it's more correct statement. The themes will be almost same as it, but this is also a statement taken from the district aspirational district program. So most probable answer here is correct is asked. Both these answer options are incorrect. There may be a mistake in your material, you can correct it. Answer the 9th question first. Next 3-4 question, all these are on different schemes that is been announced in this budget 2023. बताओ क्या आंसर है? क्या आंसर है? C, B और कुछ? With reference to Mahila Samman Saving Certificate Scheme, consider the following statement. The scheme offers a deposit facility up to 2 lakh in the name of women or girls for a tenure of 10 years. It offers fixed interest rate of 7.5%. Basic information you can get is, it is a data packed question. We have discussed so many times, if a question has so much data in it, mostly what happens is either one of the data is incorrect and other data is correct. Now here if I have to pick one data, 7.5%, what all you can think of this? Usually the FD rate in India is around 7.1% or 7.2% on something related to 7% around. Now 7.5% means slightly kept above the FD rates. Now, if government is coming with a special saving scheme, if anyone has to invest in that scheme, the interest rate should be kept slightly higher, so that there will be some motivation to keep money in those. Otherwise, keep money in FD. And if it is 12%, then that is too much to ask for. Government cannot keep the interest rate at extremely high levels, or 20% or 15%. 7.5 is something which you can think that it can be very much feasible. Or if you can think of the other schemes, like there is a scheme for girl child. What is its name? Not Beti Bachao. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Here also the interest rate is something around this 7.1, 7.4% related to this. So most probably this can be a correct statement. And this has too much of data packed into it. It's better to assume this as a wrong statement. Something can be easily made wrong in the first statement. Most probable answer, even if I don't know much about this Mahila Saman Saving Certificate scheme, is B. Now, what exactly the scheme is about? It is a one-time new small investment scheme for a period of 2 years, not 10 years, up to March 2025. Deposit facility up to 2 lakh will be there in the name of women or girls for a tenure of 2 years at fixed interest rate of 7.5% with partial withdrawal option. Okay, this basic data you write down in your note. Even if a factual question comes, you should be able to answer this. Go ahead. Answer the 10th question first. बताओ क्या है? C. With reference to Mishti initiative. Can be easily answered if you at least know the full form of this. Mishti is Mangrove Initiative for Shoreline Habitats and Tangible Incomes. So it is something associated with mangroves. It will facilitate mangrove plantations along India's coastline. It is associated with mangrove. This will improve the characteristics of mangrove along the coastlines. Very much correct statement. It will operate through convergence of Campa Fund and other sources. What is Campa Fund? It is like a forestation fund. Suppose a company has to be established. For establishing the company, 1 acre forest has to be cut down. Now, if 1 acre forest has to be cut down, then the company has to plant 3 into times of forest that is being cut down for the building the company. Now, if company cannot find land for making this 3 into, it can put the money into this Campa Fund. This fund will be utilized for doing the afforestation work. So this fund is Campa Fund, and this Mishti initiative is operating by accumulating fund from Campa as well as Manrega fund. By converging all these fund, they are raising money for the Mishti initiative. This is also an initiative that has been launched in budget 2023. Go ahead. Both the statements are correct. Answer here is C. So this is the, if you want to know more, you can read from here. Go ahead, answer the 11th question first. What is the answer? बताओ. C. With reference to Union Budget 2023-24, Consider the following statement. PM Pranam scheme incentivizes state to promote balanced use of chemical fertilizers. What exactly is PM Pranam scheme? It's exactly same objective is there, incentivizing state to use alternative fertilizers. So it's a correct statement. Balanced use of chemical fertilizer or promotion of use of alternate fertilizers, all these are having similar meanings. Indian Institute of Millet Research, Hyderabad. This is very specific option. You answer this correct only if you know, but this is a correct statement. You also shouldn't go to the exam hall with a preconceived conception that everything a specific institute name or ministry name, I will take it as wrong. This is the right statement. Indian Institute of Millet Research will be made a center of excellence for millet under this Pranam scheme. Both the statements are correct. Answer here is C. Answer the 12th question first. This is not exactly a new scheme. It has been quite old scheme that has been running for a while now. What is the answer? A. PM Kusum scheme. What exactly it is for? Solar, if farmer is having infertile land, he can establish solar power plants there. He can sell the electricity either to run his pump or he can even sell it to the grid and earn money. So that's the objective of this scheme. So why we are discussing this? The objective target of the scheme was 30,000 megawatt by 2022. Government has extended this to 2026. So that's why it was in news. Second statement, this is the correct statement. It is launched by Ministry of Power. It is launched by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, not Ministry of Power. It's a wrong statement. So answer here is A1 only. Answer 13th question first. What is the answer? Consider the following statement regarding doctrine of res judicata. What exactly is this? Recently, Madras High Court has rejected a appeal by a woman who was already given divorce. She was giving petition against the already settled case. So why this High Court, Madras High Court rejected the woman's petition or dismissed woman's petition? Because already settled cases, you don't have a right to reapproach with the same claim. If a claim you raised, then court has settled this matter, then there is some leverages provided within this. Within some days, you can review petition can be filed. Beyond this, you cannot approach the court with the exactly same demand or exactly same claim. This principle is res judicata. The principle of res judicata applies when a litigant attempts to file a subsequent lawsuit on the same matters which has been settled. This is the definition of this doctrine. Res judicata is a concept applicable only in case of civil legal system. Nothing like this, it is equally applicable to criminal system also. Second statement is incorrect, it is applicable to both the cases. Answer the 14th question. What is the answer? A. Consider the following statement regarding GST Appellate Tribunal, GST-80. Why we are discussing this? GST Council also established this body recently. Even this is a statutory body under the GST Act 2017. Even though it has to be established under the Act, it has been established recently. Now, Supreme Court came up with an act that regarding implementation of GST that you were saying. What exactly was the verdict? GST Council, what it does? It has membership from Union Finance Minister, then all state finance minister or any other minister recommended by the finance minister or CM of the state. Now here how the decisions are being taken? 33% of the vote share is with center, 67% vote share is with states. Any decision has to be taken, 75% of majority is required. Now what more? Recent Supreme Court verdict was, if any GST council, if any decision has been taken, now for implementing of this tax rate, state has to pass the bill in the state legislature. But this is not mandatory, that has been given by the Supreme Court order. Now how center is countering this? Center is saying that GST Council is a federal body. Most of the decision taken by GST Council is through consensus, not by voting, not by strict implementation. So due to this, that is the objective or the counter put forward by the center. Now this much of story, if you know, it will be specialized appellate authority for resolving dispute under GST laws. Every appellate body is for this only, solving disputes. First statement should be correct. The central government takes the final decision on number of GSTAT branches to be set up in states. So it is, if it is to be how much state level GSTAT branches should be there in Maharashtra, that has to be, most case it will be decided by state. Why? Because it is a federal body where center doesn't acquire any complete autonomy of any decisions. So central government, this can most probably a wrong statement. If number of actually GSTAT, like GST Appellate Tribunal, it has a central bench at New Delhi. Then depending on GST Council, taking permission from GST Council, state can decide how much of branches it has needs to establish within each states. For Northeast, in our 2-3 states can combinedly form one GST Appellate body also. Second statement is incorrect. Answer here is A1 only. Answer the 15th question first. What is the answer? Batao? B. Consider the following statement regarding Bodo Peace Accord of 2020. It is a bipartite accord signed in 2020 by representatives of Bodo organization with central government. Is it correct? It is not a bipartite agreement, it's a tri-agreement. 3 parties are associated with this: Bodo groups plus central government plus Assam state government. So signed in 2020 itself, but 3 parties are there. So the first statement is incorrect. It gives under the 6th schedule whatever divisions can be feasible. It gives more legislative, executive and financial powers to Bodo Territorial Council. Exactly right statement. Here answer is 2 only. Answer the 16th question first. What is the answer? With reference to new umbrella entity, NUE, consider the following statement. Where you heard this NUE? NPCI, what is NPCI? It is a body which controls or facilitates the payment system in the country, from ATMs to UPIs or the Aadhaar based payment system or any other payment system you come across. We discussed so much in this economic class. All this payment system has been developed by NPCA, and NPCA is controlled by whom? NPCI ownership is divided between different banks. Earlier it was 10 banks, now there is 60 plus banks and financial institutions have ownership in NPCI. Now RBI has called what? Other private entities to come and set up payment bodies like this to give a competition to NPCI to improve the payment system under this. Now when RBI called this tender, they got application from Google, Amazon, Facebook, all these big countries applied for getting the license of NUI or new umbrella entity. It will be a single entity which can facilitate different kind of payment systems. Now what RBI did after that? RBI rejected all these applications and reconsidered giving license to private bodies in this payment system. RBI say all these applications which they have got doesn't meet the XYZ criteria to be a new umbrella entity, and so RBI may not be going ahead with this private companies to come into this payment system cycle. So it is a fintech institute planned as a rival to the National Payment Corporation of India. Very much correct statement. It will be owned by private to improve the competitiveness of the sector. It will be set up by RBI. It will be regulated by RBI, not set up by RBI. It will be set up by private entities like Amazon, Google, or any other private entity. Second statement is incorrect. Here answer is A1 only. Answer the 17th question first. Now next 3-4 question we have most this question due to this Hindenburg report and Adani stocks. What happened to Adani Enterprises? From there the next 2-3 questions are related to. What is the answer? B. C. Consider the following statement regarding follow-on public offer. Why we are discussing this? Because Adani Group was coming up with a 20k crore to follow up on public offer. Now this has been withdrawn and this has been put on hold. Whichever the money has been taken has been repaid by the group. Why? This Hindenburg report came and there has been sudden fall in interest in the Adani shares and falling prices. So it was not right time to issue more shares. It is the first sale of मैं क्या बोलता है IPO बोलता है initial public offering. And follow up means even the name indicates that something is already there and you are continuing that. So first sale of shares, it cannot happen to the public by a privately owned company. This is exactly definition of IPO. First statement incorrect. Companies use FPOs to diversify equity base and raise capital for the business. Why the companies are putting the shares for public? Simply to raise money from the public. Very crime, like if more shares are there, more diversification of equity will be there. Second statement is absolutely correct. B is the correct answer here. Answer the 18th question. What is the answer? बताओ आंसर क्या है? Okay, then answer these statements. See, with reference to free float of stocks. Now just relate with the name. It refers to shares of a company that can be publicly traded and not restricted. If some restriction is there, free name cannot come. Free float means those shares with there is no restriction and who should hold this. Some companies can bring up with the share, like share those who already are owners of the company can only hold, or who are employees of the company can only hold, or for some companies only government bodies like state governments or central government, only government entities, sovereign entities can only own these shares. So there can be categorization, but free float means anyone can hold. There is no XYZ limit criteria for this. And this is exactly the definition. It refers to shares of a company that can be publicly traded and not restricted. Stocks with higher free float means if 100 stocks are being issued, 90 are free float shares means 90 is with the public, and there may be higher liquidity with this because it is here the trade happens. If other the 10 stock which are not free, if that is being with the employees, they will not sell it till a longer period of time. These shares are mostly hold for a longer period of time. Here the trade and all the daily dynamics happen here. So the second statement is also correct. Answer is C, both 1 and 2. Answer the 19th question first. What is the answer? क्या आंसर है? 19th question D. Consider the following statement regarding coffee production in India. C. B. Everything is there. Coffee in India is grown under canopy of thick natural shade in ecologically sensitive regions of western and eastern Ghats. Two data is coming in this statement. One is shade, natural shade. Second is it is in western Ghats and eastern Ghats. If you at least see a coffee plantation, it can grow under, sorry, it's working. Yeah, it can grow under a shade, and eastern Ghats, western Ghats are more, both the hotspot are being subjected to coffee plantation. Statement is correct. Kerala is leading producer of coffee in India. Karnataka is the leading producer of coffee in India. So second statement, very specific data is also the very specific state is also mentioned. It's a wrong statement. 2 you can eliminate. 2 varieties of coffee are grown in India are Arabica and Robusta. With Arabica type of coffee being produced more than Robusta type of coffee in the last decade. What is the answer for this? Is it correct? Actually, Arabica was traditionally more grown in India. But over the last decade, there has been news that Robusta has taken over Arabica. Why? Because there is more productivity and more yield in Robusta. So farmers are getting more money from Robusta. So recent in the last decade, Arabica has been overtaken by Robusta. So this statement is incorrect. Answer here is A1 only. Go ahead, answer the 20th question. What exactly are mutual funds? What it does is pooling of funds from retail investors, then they invest in share market. Is it equity or debt? Equity or debt type of investment? It is an equity investment. We have debt mutual fund as totally different. What is debt mutual fund does? It will pool the investors, then invest this in debt market. Debt market means government securities, treasury bills and all this. Now this is about mutual fund trustees. Mutual fund trustees are independent group of people or independent directors that is appointed by the mutual fund companies. What they does is they check the review of this mutual fund working, where the fund is invested. Is the fund invested in the best interest of the investors? This will be reviewed by these mutual fund trustees. And they have wide range of powers also. So first statement, they hold property of mutual fund in trust to benefit the unit holders. Fairly, it is a correct statement. The trustee is authorized to initiate action against asset management company if SEBI regulations are not compiled. These mutual fund trustees have wide powers to control the company. They can take a decision or change the decision regarding appointments, regarding the fund structure. So they have wide range of powers, including if SEBI regulations are violated, they can take action against asset management companies. Both these statements are correct. Other powers you can read from the material. Other powers of mutual fund trustees. Go ahead, answer the 21st question first. What is the answer? D. A. With reference to social stock exchange. What is social stock exchange? Mostly non-profit organizations or non-profit companies will come and raise money from social stock exchange. Who will be regulating this? SEBI. Who will be implementing this? NSE. Recently, SEBI has given permission for NSE to start operating the social stock exchange. That's why we are discussing it. All non-profit organizations are eligible to participate in this exchange. Issue is the all statement. All state organization cannot come and participate this. Even all companies in India are not listed in stock exchanges. If you want to list a company in stock exchange, there is certain criteria that has to be met. Your overall turnover should be this much, or your wealth should be this much. Some XYZ criteria will be there. Similarly, some criteria will be there for social stock exchange also. It is all is still an extreme statement. First statement is wrong. A minimum size of 100 crore is required for this stock exchange. If an 100 crore issue size is being like, who will buy this? Even FPIs cannot invest 100 crore in one non-profit organization and all. It's too big for a non-profit organization to be listed for 100 crores as size, issue size of this. Both these statements are incorrect. Answer here is D. We'll discuss after class. Answer 22nd question first. What is the answer? C. What do you know about neutron star? They are extremely dense. They are called as one of the densest objects in the universe. Extremely dense. Their radius is around 20 kilometer and their mass is 2 to 3 times of sun. So you can imagine how dense this is. Now their constituent elements is mostly neutrons, subatomic particles called neutrons. What is characteristics of neutron? They are charge neutral. Now if one more characteristic features of neutron star you are associated with this. How this is formed? When a big star undergoes supernova explosion, that means a big star was there after the end of life cycle, it collapses into itself. It collapses into itself into a small region, then this neutron star is being produced. Due to its extreme high mass, it have very high gravitational force, it has very high magnetic force also. What else? If you read some more about this neutron star, this plays a greater role in formation of heavy metals in the universe. Heavy metals including this gold, silver and all. Now come to this question. Kilonova is being asked. What exactly is kilonova? It is a cosmic event that occurs when neutron star smashes into another neutron star. It's exactly the right statement. Usually, recently the scientists have observed that there are two neutron stars which are having a separation between them. But in future, these are both coming together and they can collapse into form a kilonova type of incident can happen. This has been the recent discovery. That's where we are discussing this. This is exactly the definition of it. It releases heavy metals into gold, like gold, silver and selenium into outer space. This neutron star is associated with formation of heavy metals, and if some collision is happening, there is high chance this can be released into the nature. Both these statements are correct. C is the answer here. Neutrons are a very high density, very high gravitational force. But then how will it be released into the atmosphere? Will it not be sucked? It is not a black hole. Black hole has totally, when we speak about high density, high mass, don't associate everything with black holes. When some collision is happening, some part can be released, some can become different parts of it. Answer the 23rd question. This you message me, right? This topic. What is the answer? What is the answer? A. Batao? Consider the following statement regarding stem cells. What exactly is stem cells? Batao? They are undifferentiated cells. What is their ability? Undifferentiated means if you take a stem cell, you cannot say whether this is a cell of a heart or liver or skull or where it is. So these are undifferentiated cell which has ability to differentiate into any different organ in the body. Stem cell can become a part of heart tissue, can become a part of kidney or liver or any tissue. It has the ability to become, or skin, it has the ability to become any other tissue in the human body. These kind of blood cells are called as stem cells. What more? What is their function? There are two types of stem cells. One is embryonic. What is embryonic stem cells? This will be collected from embryo of the human body or human formation. What is embryo? Fertilization has just taken place and very few, the specialization is just happening. There will be huge amount of these stem cells being produced there. Second one is adult. Here the role is to develop into differentiate into different parts and develop the full body of the human baby. That is the objective of embryonic cells. Then there is adult stem cell. What adult stem cell does? Suppose if some part of the body skin is being removed, then the skin will be regenerated over a period of time. This regeneration may be stem cells plays a role, and this stem cell, this is done by adult stem cell. Like every human body has some percentage of stem cells within them, but here the ability is limited. These stem cells are like superpower, they can transform into any of these cells, but here adult stem cells are not that much powerful. They have limited capacity, limited differentiation abilities. What else? Now let's answer this question. Stem cells have the potential to develop into many different types of cells in the body. That is exact definition of stem cell. No other cell apart from stem cell have natural ability to generate new types of cell. Natural ability तो किसी को पास नहीं है. What this IPSC is? Stem cells, if you want to use it for medical applications, you want to use this for developing some organs, or you want to do it for study, you have to collect it from embryo. If you are collecting it from embryo means you are essentially killing the baby or essentially disturbing the baby. So you have to give a life to get these stem cells. So there is ethical consideration with this. Is it right to do or is it not right to do? Now to solve this problem, we came up with IPSC. What is this? Induced pluripotent stem cells. What this does is, we'll take an adult cell, then some genetic engineering will do to that. So this adult cell will transform into a stem cell. So this adult cell can be any other part of the cells also. So there is this, overcome these ethical issues, we came up with this induced pluripotent stem cells. Now this has the ability to differentiate into other organs, but this is not a natural ability. These cells acquire this ability only by doing some genetic engineering transformations. Only after the genetic engineering they will have these stem cell characteristics. Otherwise only stem cells have the ability to generate into different types of cells. So this is also a correct statement. Answer here is C. Go ahead, answer the 24th question. So we'll discuss after class all other things. What is the answer? D. C. The term drug as per statutory provisions means preparations applied on human body for the purpose of repelling insects like mosquitoes. Substances used for destruction of vermin or insects which cause disease in human beings or animals. Substances intended to affect the structure or any function of the human body. It is defined under which act? Section 3B of Drugs and Cosmetic Acts 1940. All these are includes the definition of drug. Answer here is 1, 2 and 3. Exact definition, if you want to read, you can pause the video and read it from here. Considered as a drug. Go ahead, answer the 25th question. Very quite easy question this is. Then we discussed this in science and tech class also. What exactly is this? NISAR. NISAR is a satellite, remote sensing satellite. Between which countries? Collaboration between India and USA or NASA and ISRO. What is specialty of this? multi-band remote sensing satellite it is. L band as well as S band will be a part of this. What is difference will be discussed before. So this much if you can remember, it is, what is the answer here? Earth observation satellite is there. Recently NASA has sent off the satellite after doing all the makeups what they have to do. They have sent the satellite to India. Now it will come to India, do the modifications, put in the vehicle, launch vehicle, and India will send it into the space. Go ahead, answer the 26th question. What is the answer? What is Albright meteorite? What is meteorite exactly? Solar system parts which enter into Earth atmosphere and fall on Earth. If it fall on Earth, we call it as meteorite. Now we are speaking about a meteorite, that is a rock that came from space. They are coarse grained, हो सकता है, ingrained igneous rock. Igneous ही होगा ना. All meteorites will be igneous only. There is no other kind of rocks which possibly can have these meteors. Are formed in oxygen poor condition. That's quite specific. Only if you know, you know. They consist of variety of minerals which are not found on Earth. That is very much possibility of this. This meteorites is coming from outer space, so it can have other minerals that is not available on the Earth. Here answer C. Why we are discussing this? Because in Gujarat we have found this, some meteorite hit has happened and the rocks has been studied, some new elements, like what is the name of the new element or new mineral? And statite. That is the name of the new mineral that is being found in the meteorite happening in the Gujarat. Take picture, go ahead. Answer the 27th question. What is the answer? 27C. With reference to archaeological survey of India, consider the following statement. It was founded by British Army engineer Alexander Cunningham. Is it true? Alexander Cunningham is called father of Indian archaeology. So father of Indian archaeology is being said. High chance he can be. Who are the other famous British archaeologists? James Prinsep. What is his contribution? He deciphered Brahmi as well as Kharosthi scripts. During which phase this scripts was famous? During the time of Ashoka. Who is the other famous? John Marshall. What is his contribution? John Marshall contribution is Indus Valley civilization. He done extensive study in this Mohenjo-daro and Takshila that shed light on this Indus Valley civilizations. Before that, assumption was Indian civilization in history began from Vedic ages. So he done the study and found that this is not something that developed after the Vedic age. This is older than Vedic age, and this is completely a new system that has been formed in these lands. So British, it was founded, Archaeological Survey of India, it was founded by Alexander Cunningham itself. It worked under the aegis of Ministry of Culture. Here a ministry is there, it is a specific point. Still the statement is correct. Answer here is C. Both the statements are correct. Is the Archaeological Survey of India statutory body? There is Archaeological and Protection Act of 1957 also. Under this act, it is a statutory body. It functions under Ministry of Culture. Answer the 28th question. What is the answer? C. Some question from art and culture. With reference to Ottantullal, consider the following statements. It is a recite and dance drama from Kerala. So what are the recite and dance dramas from Kerala? This is a representation of Ottantullal. It have this costume. Kerala, you can find that there is three. This is why we are discussing it. Like it has been 300-year-old tradition that is still going on. So there is three major dance drama from Kerala. One is Kathakali, the famous one. Kathakali and Kudiyattam, and the third one is Ottantullal. And what is the difference between these three? Kudiyattam is a Sanskrit drama. So the language used will be mostly Sanskrit and the themes will be Sanskrit based. Kathakali, it's mostly done in, the song is basically in Malayalam, or a Malayalam plus Sanskrit mixed language is being used. But here also the theme in both these cases, what is this? In both the cases, theme is religious themes from Mahabharata, from Ramayana, life of Ram. All these themes, religious themes, Hindu mythological themes are used in Kathakali as well as Kudiyattam. Now this Ottantullal is something like a social satire. What does that mean? It is more like you can, it is, these are like more older versions and this has only a history of 300 years. During this time there has been social issues, social caste issues or women issues. All these issues has been severely criticized using an art form, and this was an art form developed for this. So what will be the language used here? It will be local language only. Like in Kerala, if it is, it will be in local language, not in any Tamil, Sanskrit or any other advanced languages. So that is all about Ottantullal, and it is formed by Kunjan Nambiyar itself. That is the founder of this Ottantullal. There is famous story on founding of this. He was somebody, he was a member of this Kudiyattam group. Now he was being insulted for not being participative or not being efficient, and he got take revenge and he started on his own. And that came against the people who propagates the Kathakali and this Kudiyattam, like Sanskrit based. They formed something against this, and that came as Ottantullal and social satire. Go ahead, answer here is C. Both the statements are correct. Answer the 29th statement. What is the answer? B, C, D. Sabara. Damal. Now what is Siddhis? It is practiced by Siddhis. What is Siddhi? Siddhis are African people in India. They are not just African people. They came here centuries ago. They get intermixed with Indian people. They have marriage relation with Indian people. So this is like a mixed caste people still living in India. And which state they are living? They are mostly in Gujarat, Karnataka and Telangana. These states majorly you can find the Siddhis group. This has been used for different reasons. So at least if this much you can know, this it is a mix of Sufi and African music dance form traditions. Both these statements are correct. Damal is a Sufi and African mixed tradition. This is practiced by Siddhis of Gujarat. Answer here is C. Answer the last question of the day. What is the answer? Now you can see the word Urusi. Consider the following statement with regarding Urusi. It is a Gupta era architectural feature. A Gupta era, it's a Hindu era. Something like this, more like an Arabic word. An Arabic word cannot find some expression in Gupta era. Most probably it will be something related to Delhi Sultanates or Mughal era. So if I take this option as wrong, I already got the answer 2 and 3. That is the, if I have to answer this question during the exam, I will mark only 2 and 3 even if I am not too much aware of the other statements. Wooden shutters are, what exactly is this? Recently there has been earthquake in Turkey, earthquake in Afghanistan. So this earthquake are also happening in Jammu and Kashmir, also lies in like seismic zone 5, high risk for earthquakes. Now the government of or people from Srinagar are also thinking if some kind of earthquake happen here, what is the solutions? And this is like an ancient building architectural model which can resist earthquake to some extent. How they are resisting earthquake? This is a building of this Urusi model. It is a Mughal era architectural feature. It is in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. Wooden shutters are used in partition walls within the building instead of concrete walls. So not inside separation is done using wooden walls. It will give more resilience to the building. Urusi works include octagonal and decagonal ornamental pillars also. Here also you can see the different structures. Like the pillars are designed in octagonal and decigonal structures to give stability to the structure. So 2 and 3 statements are correct. First statement is incorrect. This is a structure from Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. If it is was a Gupta era feature, Gupta era is in like 4th century, 5th century AD. So during this time, wooden shutters may not have survived till now. So if an architectural feature, wooden shutter is a characteristic feature, that cannot be that much old. It should be 400, 500 years old. You can eliminate with that technique also. Very good. So that's all for now. We completed till February 2023 current affairs. So one more class we will have on March 2023. That's all for now. Thank you so much.